Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about 6 key ways to boost your own self-confidence. So, this is a huge topic, and so many people struggle with self-esteem. And what I find is that, boosting your confidence and self-esteem is not about suddenly becoming so confident that you just feel arrogant everywhere that you go. Part of boosting your own self-confidence or rebuilding your self-esteem is actually stripping back the layers of things that are actively taking away from your self-esteem. So you can come into a place where you feel in harmony in the relationship to yourself, good in the relationship to yourself, and that will translate as nice, quiet self-confidence instead of arrogance. First tool. Number 1, improve your self-talk. So we think roughly 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day, according to a study done at the University of Southern California's Neuroimaging Institute. And these thoughts throughout the day, we have to remember, create emotional output. And if we're thinking thoughts like how we're not good enough, not interesting enough, not smart enough, not this, not that, we messed up, we're an idiot, we're stupid, these really painful things, then we're going to get into a place where we are diminishing our own self-esteem like crazy. And I want you to imagine if somebody spoke to you the way you speak to yourself, would that person be uplifting your self-esteem or diminishing it? Really important question to ask. So what we can practice doing is becoming more mindful of negative thoughts and using cognitive reframes to upgrade negative or self-diminishing thoughts that we have about ourselves. And this doesn't have to be something where we make a huge mistake and we're like, oh, I'm amazing. It's not something where we're lying to ourselves. It's something that we would want a loving parent, a loving friend, a loving partner to say to us in those moments. And that can be your frame of reference. So for example, maybe you make a big mistake and you're like, you know what? I definitely made a mistake. I can own that. And I believe that I have the ability to recover from this, or I believe I can take the steps necessary to be accountable and create change. So it's like this, just like you would want somebody to say to you, hey, you messed up and that's okay. Now I believe in you to be able to recover. Let's take the steps together, so how can you give to you what you'd be seeking in that form from somebody else? Number 2, learn to meet your own needs. When we can become aware of what our needs are, we are tremendously empowered because so much of our life is actually about this, just in a hidden subconscious form. Our subconscious is always trying to get its needs met. And when we can become consciously aware of these subconscious needs and create the healthiest version of getting these needs met, we really empower ourselves to live a better life, to feel more connected, and we are all more confident in the areas of our needs. So we have these personality need drivers, essentially. And I won't get into it too much right now, but at a high level, these needs are part of our sense of self and sense of identity. So if you have me, for example, so many of my personality needs are revolving around personal growth, emotional connection, career growth. These things are really important to me. So when I'm recording a YouTube video, or if I'm doing a webinar or recording a course, I feel very confident in that area because that's my area that I love, that I naturally pour into, that I'm always learning about. So I'm going to feel comfortable in a whole bunch of situations that I wouldn't necessarily if it was a different topic. So let's say, for example, instead, I'll actually give you an example. So I just moved. My fiance was putting together patio furniture yesterday. We're putting the patio furniture together that we ordered online. And I'm so just not confident in that area. I had to keep asking him questions. I'm like, okay, I'll put it together with you. And he's done 3 of the patio chairs before I can even put together a single one. And I'm just not confident in that area. I kept having to reread the directions or the instructions, re-ask him questions, get him to come over and help me with mine. And that's not an area that I'm skilled in. And it's not an area I'm confident because I don't pour any of my time into that, right? I'm obviously going to be more confident in the things I'm constantly learning about all the time, right? Human behavior and personal growth and psychology. I'll feel confident there because I give so much time and energy to that. So it's in my comfort zone. So when we learn what our needs are that are driving us, and we can act in those needs, we can learn to build our life around these things that we're naturally focused on, inspired by, motivated to do, we're going to feel more confident in those specific areas. Number 3 is end the comparison game. This is a hugely important one. The more we are caught in a situation in life where we are consistently comparing ourselves to other people, the more we just get into a really painful place. And going back to number 2, when we talk about needs, usually we're comparing ourselves to people with totally different needs. So if I, was comparing myself, or let's say if Bob was comparing himself to somebody who, let's say Bob's personality needs are all about like social connection, emotional connection, and comfort. And let's say somebody else's personality needs are about like financial growth, wealth building, security. And then Bob's comparing how much money he's making to that to that person. It's like, well, Bob is comparing himself to somebody with totally different priorities, totally different set of programs. So it doesn't mean anything. Like it actually doesn't mean anything. Just like if that person with those needs was comparing themselves to Bob, and they were comparing their social and emotional relationships to Bob, Bob's probably going to be excelling there more because those are his subconscious natural priorities. So we have to recognize that like when we're comparing ourselves to other people, it truly doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. People have different belief patterns, different programming from childhood, different needs, different ways of getting those needs met. And these are the things driving our behavior and output, nothing else. Number 4 is learning to treat yourself with unconditional love. What this means is being able to give yourself love, support, respect, kindness, even when you make mistakes. So if you made a mistake and you want to be like, oh, who cares? I'm just going to go home tonight and eat chocolate and not exercise and not take care of myself because I don't deserve it. Like, no, behaviorally show up, be thorough, like show up for yourself, be kind to yourself in your behaviors anyway, support yourself, support the best version of yourself, even when stuff is tough, even when things are not good. Don't fall into this trap where it's like, oh, things are not good, so I'm going to justify giving myself a hard time, not taking care of myself, not looking out for my own best interests, etc. So learning to give ourselves unconditional love, not just in our behaviors and how we show up, but also in the way we communicate to ourselves in our internal dialogue and the way we treat our own emotions. Number 5, spend time with people who uplift you. This is a huge one because people really do rub off on us, and the subconscious mind is programmed through repetition and emotion. So whatever we are repeatedly exposed to that elicits an emotional response is going to impact our psyche. And number 6 is learn to set better boundaries. Setting boundaries is you really carving out your domain as a human being. And the more you set effective boundaries, the more you're also saying, I matter and I deserve and I'm worthy of taking up space. And the more you protect yourself and make yourself feel safer in the world. When we learn to set boundaries and show up for ourselves and support ourselves that way, we literally are letting ourselves know and letting our own subconscious mind know, even through inference, that we are worthy of being seen. We are worthy of mattering. We are worthy of taking up space. We're deserving of having a domain. And in support of that, we will feel like the more confident version of ourselves. If you want to do a much deeper dive into this topic, along with a whole bunch of reprogramming tools for your subconscious mind to really deep dive and reprogram limiting belief patterns that you might be holding and learn to actually identify what your needs are, learn strategies to end the comparison game, just a much deeper dive into a lot of these topics and more, you can check out for free the Skyrocket Your Self-Esteem course for 7 days. It's available along with all other courses inside PDS by clicking the link in the description box below, so you can check it out this evening or whenever you have time. And this will be something that will really help you to reprogram your belief systems, upgrade your self-esteem and self-confidence, and stop fearing rejection so much as well. You can check it out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for being here and for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video as well.